Welcome, dear listener, and thank you for joining me tonight. My name is Christian Adjabeng, and I am grateful to be your guide as we enter another peaceful world created for rest, imagination, and gentle dreams. Tonight's story is called The Whispering Forest of Silver Dreams. Before our journey begins, allow yourself to become comfortable. Let your body settle into a position that feels natural and peaceful. Allow your shoulders to relax. Allow your hands to rest. Let the sounds around you become softer as you prepare for a quiet journey into imagination. Take a slow, gentle breath in and slowly let it go. With every breath, allow the moments of the day to move farther away. The conversations, the responsibility. The thoughts that have followed you from morning until now. You do not need to carry them through this moment. Tonight is a time for stillness, a time for peace, a time to simply listen. Far beyond the familiar roads, beyond the distant hills, and beyond the places known by ordinary maps, there exists an ancient forest hidden beneath a sky filled with silver stars. A forest where the trees whisper forgotten stories. A forest where streams carry peaceful melodies. A forest where dreamers can wander safely beneath the moonlight. Tonight, we will walk among those trees. We will follow the quiet pathways. We will discover the secrets hidden beneath the silver leaves. So allow your imagination to open gently. Allow yourself to slow down. And as the world becomes quieter around you, our journey into the whispering forest of silver dreams begins. Every night, when the world becomes quiet and the stars begin to appear, there are places that awaken only in the imagination, places hidden beyond the mountains, beyond the rivers, beyond the paths that ordinary travelers follow. Deep within one such place lies an ancient forest where the trees remember every gentle footstep, where the wind carries forgotten melodies, and where silver leaves shimmer beneath the glow of the moon. Tonight, that forest opens its pathways for you. A place where dreams rest beneath branches of light. A place where every whisper carries a message of peace. A place where you can leave behind the noise of the day and wander freely through a world of calm and wonder. So allow the night to surround you. Allow the stars to guide you, and step softly into the whispering forest of silver dreams. The journey into the whispering forest began on a night when the moon seemed to shine a little brighter than usual. The sky was clear and endless, scattered with countless stars that rested quietly above the world. A gentle breeze moved across the land, carrying the fresh scent of pine trees, wildflowers, and the cool air of a peaceful evening. Far beyond the last village, beyond the fields where the roads became smaller, there was a hidden path that led toward an ancient forest. Few people knew of this path, not because it was guarded, not because it was difficult to find, but because the forest revealed itself only to those who were willing to walk slowly and listen. At the beginning of the path stood a tall wooden arch covered with silver vines. The vines shimmered softly beneath the moonlight, and carved into the wood were the words, "Enter gently, for every quiet step awakens a story." As you pass beneath the arch, the sounds of the outside world begin to fade. The distant roads disappear. The busy thoughts of the day grow quieter, and the forest welcomes you with a peaceful silence. The first thing you notice is the trees. They are taller than any trees you have ever seen. Their trunks rise like ancient towers, and their branches stretch across the sky, creating a beautiful ceiling of silver leaves. Each leaf catches the moonlight and reflects it softly, making the entire forest glow as though it is filled with tiny pieces of starlight. You walk along the forest path, slowly, peacefully. The ground beneath your feet is covered with soft moss and fallen leaves. Every step feels gentle, as though the forest itself is making the journey easier for you. Around you, the trees begin to whisper, not in words that need to be understood, but in sounds that feel comforting. The rustling leaves, the movement of branches, the quiet song of the wind passing through the forest. It feels as though the trees are welcoming you, as though they have been waiting for your arrival. Gen Wassadils. A small stream appears beside the path, flowing quietly through the forest. The water is clear enough to see smooth stones resting beneath the surface, and the reflection of the moon dances gently across the stream. You stop for a moment. You listen. The stream creates a peaceful melody, the kind of melody that does not demand attention, the kind that simply exists. You sit beside the water and allow yourself to enjoy the stillness. The forest does not ask you to hurry. The night does not ask you to accomplish anything. For this moment, you are simply here, breathing, retting, listening. After a while, you notice something floating above the stream. A small silver light, then another, and another. Tiny glowing orbs begin to appear between the trees, moving slowly through the air, like gentle stars that have come down from the sky. They drift along the forest path, creating a quiet trail of light. The forest is showing you the way. You follow the glowing lights deeper among the silver trees. With every step, the forest becomes more peaceful. The whispers become softer. The air becomes warmer. And the feeling of being welcomed grows stronger. Ahead, hidden beyond the curve of the path, you see the outline of something resting between the trees, a place built within the forest, a place where the first secrets of the whispering forest are waiting. But for now, you continue walking, slowly, quickly, beneath the silver leaves, and deeper into the forest of dreams. The silver lights floating above the forest path continued to guide you deeper into the whispering forest. They moved slowly, never rushing ahead, never leaving you behind. Their gentle glow created a peaceful trail between the ancient trees, leading you toward a place hidden beyond the shadows of the forest. As you walked, the trees began to change. The tall silver trunks became wider, their branches spreading like great umbrellas beneath the moonlit sky. Small flowers grew beside the path, opening their petals as you passed, filling the air with a soft and calming fragrance. The forest seemed to know you were there. Every leaf, every stream, every gentle movement of the wind, everything felt connected. After some time, the path opened into a quiet clearing, and there, hidden among the trees, was a small village. The village looked as though it had grown from the forest itself. The houses were built from smooth wood and covered with green vines. Their windows glowed with warm candlelight, and small gardens surrounded each doorway. There were no tall walls, no gates, no barriers. The village welcomed the forest, and the forest welcomed the village. Above the rooftops, silver lanterns hung from the branches of the ancient trees, gently swaying in the night breeze. Their light was soft and comforting, not bright enough to disturb the peaceful darkness. Only bright enough to create a feeling of warmth. As you enter the village, you notice how quiet it is. Not an empty quiet, a peaceful quiet. The kind of silence that feels like a warm blanket. The kind of silence where you can hear your own thoughts becoming calmer. A small wooden bridge crosses a stream at the entrance of the village. Beneath it, the water flows slowly, carrying reflections of the silver lanterns above. You pause for a moment. The reflection of the lights dances across the surface. It almost looks like the stars have come down to rest in the water. On the other side of the bridge stands a small cottage with a round wooden door. Beside the cottage is an old tree with branches that stretch across the entire garden. Sitting beneath the tree is the caretaker of the village. The caretaker looks up as you approach and smiles gently. "Welcome," the caretaker says softly. The forest has been whispering your name for some time. You look around at the peaceful village. "The forest speaks," you ask. The caretaker smiles. "Yes, but not everyone knows how to listen." The caretaker explains that the whispering forest has existed for countless years. It has watched seasons come and go. It has seen travellers arrive, carrying heavy thoughts, and leave carrying peaceful memories. The forest does not speak with voices, the caretaker says. It speaks through feelings, through the sound of rain, through the movement of leaves, through moments when the heart becomes quiet enough to hear. You walk with the caretaker through the village. There is a small library built beneath the oldest tree. There is a garden where flowers bloom only beneath moonlight. There is a peaceful pond where people come to sit and watch the stars. Every place feels special, yet nothing feels rushed. Everything moves at the same gentle rhythm as the forest itself. The caretaker leads you to a small resting place beside the pond. A comfortable wooden chair waits beneath a silver leaf tree. You may rest here whenever you wish. The caretaker says, "The forest does not measure journeys by distance. It measures them by moments of peace." You sit beneath the tree. Above you, the leaves shimmer softly. Around you, the village rests. The lanterns glow. The stream flows. The forest whispers. And slowly, you begin to feel that you have discovered something more than a hidden village. You have discovered a place where time moves gently, a place where the world feels quieter, a place where every breath feels a little easier. As the night continues, the caretaker looks toward a path leading beyond the village. "Tomorrow's path will take you deeper into the forest," the caretaker says. "There is a place there where the trees keep their oldest memories." You look toward the dark but peaceful trail. Somewhere beyond those trees are more stories waiting, more secrets, more gentle wonders. But for now, you remain beneath the silver leaves, listening, retting, and becoming part of the quiet rhythm of the whispering forest. The night continued peacefully in the hidden village among the trees. Beneath the silver leaves, you rested beside the quiet pond, listening to the gentle sounds of the whispering forest. The stream flowed softly. The lanterns swayed above you. The branches moved slowly with the breeze. Everything around you seemed to breathe in harmony. For a while, you simply sat there. There was no need to explore, no need to discover, no need to think about what came next. The forest had already taught you something important. Sometimes the most beautiful moments are the ones where we allow ourselves to simply be. As the moon moved higher into the sky, the caretaker returned. A small lantern rested in the caretaker's hands. Unlike the silver lanterns throughout the village, this one had a soft green glow. "This lantern will guide you to the grove of ancient memories," the caretaker said. "The oldest part of the forest. You stand slowly and follow the caretaker toward the edge of the village. A narrow pathway waits between two enormous trees. The trees are so old that their roots rise gently from the ground like natural bridges. The caretaker places a hand upon one of the trunks. These trees have watched many journeys begin and end. They remember every traveller who has walked beneath their branches. You look closely at the tree. The bark is covered with delicate patterns, almost like writing carved by time itself. "Do they remember me too?" you ask. The caretaker smiles. "The forest remembers every gentle heart that visits." And with those words, you begin your walk into the ancient grove. The path becomes quieter with every step. The village lights slowly disappear behind you. The sounds of daily life fade away. Soon there is only the forest, the trees, the wind, and the peaceful rhythm of your footsteps. As you move deeper, you notice something unusual. The trees are glowing softly, not with lanterns, not with fire, but with a natural silver light that seems to come from within their branches. The caretaker explains that these trees hold memories. Not memories of important events, not memories of great battles or famous moments. They hold memories of kindness, a gentle word spoken at the right time, a helping hand offered without expectation, a quiet moment shared between two people beneath the stars. The forest remembers the things that often go unnoticed. You continue walking until you reach the center of the grove. There stands the oldest tree in the entire forest. It is enormous. Its branches stretch above the others, creating a peaceful shelter beneath the moon. At its base is a small wooden seat covered with soft moss. The caretaker invites you to sit. When travelers rest here, the caretaker says, the tree shares one memory with them. You become still. The ancient tree begins to glow. A soft breeze moves through its branches, and slowly a peaceful image appears within the silver light. You see a small cottage beside a meadow. You see someone planting flowers beside the doorway. You see a person smiling as they watch butterflies move through the garden. The moment is simple, quiet, beautiful. Then the image fades, another memory appears, a traveller sitting beside a fire on a cold evening. A warm cup of tea, a peaceful conversation, a feeling of belonging, then it fades too. The tree shares another, and another. Each one is different. Yet each one carries the same feeling, peace. The caretaker speaks softly. The forest keeps these memories because they remind all who visit that happiness is often found in ordinary moments. You look around the grove. The ancient trees stand quietly. They have witnessed countless seasons, countless journeys, countless dreams. And still they continue to grow. Still they continue to give. Still they continue to whisper. The caretaker places the green lantern beside you. This lantern represents remembrance, not remembering everything that has happened, but remembering the moments that made your heart feel calm. You hold the lantern gently. Its light feels warm, comforting. like a quiet reminder of peaceful times. The grove remains still around you. The grove remains still around you. The ancient tree watches peacefully. The moon shines through the branches. And for a while, you simply rest beneath the oldest tree in the whispering forest, listening to memories. Feeling the gentle presence of the forest, knowing that every peaceful moment you experience becomes a small light you can carry with you. Eventually, the caretaker looks toward another path beyond the grove, a path covered with silver flowers. There is another place waiting, the caretaker says. A place where the forest shares its dreams. You look ahead. The flowers glow softly in the darkness. The journey continues. But for now, you remain beneath the ancient branches, quietly, peacefully, among the memories of the whispering forest. The path beyond the grove of ancient memories was unlike any path you had walked before. It was covered with silver flowers that opened gently beneath your footsteps, revealing a soft glow that guided the way forward. The flowers did not grow in straight lines. They curved naturally through the forest, following the shape of the land of golden daffodils, as though they had been placed there by the forest itself. The caretaker walked beside you, carrying the green lantern from the ancient grove. Its light moved quietly through the trees, creating a peaceful glow around every branch and leaf. As you continued deeper, the whispers of the forest changed. The voices of the trees became softer. The breeze became warmer. And somewhere ahead you heard the gentle sound of water, not the sound of a rushing river, not the sound of waves, but the calm, steady sound of a peaceful lake. After a gentle walk, the trees opened. Before you was a large lake surrounded by silver trees and soft grass. The water was perfectly still, so still that it looked like a piece of glass placed beneath the stars. The caretaker stopped at the edge of the lake. "This is the lake of sleeping reflections," the caretaker said. "A place where the forest rests and remembers." You look across the water. The surface reflects the moon above, but something about the reflection feels different. The moon appears brighter. The stars seem closer. And as you watch, you notice that the lake is not only reflecting the sky. It is reflecting peaceful moments. A small child watching butterflies in a summer garden, a traveller resting beside a warm fire, a family walking together beneath the evening sun. A quiet morning beside an open window. The lake holds gentle memories, moments that passed quickly, but left behind a feeling of happiness. The caretaker sits beside the water. Many people spend their lives searching for extraordinary moments, the caretaker says. But the heart often remembers the simple ones. You sit near the lake. The grass beneath you is soft and cool. The air is calm. The forest surrounds you like a gentle embrace. You watch the reflections move slowly across the water. They do not appear all at once. They come and go like dreams. A peaceful memory appears, then fades. Another takes its place, then another. The lake does not hold on to anything. It simply allows each moment to arrive and gently pass. The caretaker places the green lantern beside the water. Its reflection joins the others. For a moment, the lake glows with silver and green light. It looks as though the stars have descended from the sky to rest upon the surface. The caretakers speak softly. This lake teaches travellers something important. You listen. Peace is not found by holding on to every moment forever. Peace is found by appreciating each moment while it is here. The words settle quietly around you. You look at the water. The reflection of the moon moves gently as a small breeze passes across the lake. The image changes, but the beauty remains. The forest continues whispering. The trees continue growing. The stars continue shining. Everything moves naturally. Everything changes. Everything continues. You remain beside the lake for a long while. There is no need to speak. No need to search. No need to hurry. The peaceful silence itself becomes a companion. After some time, the caretaker points toward the far side of the lake. There, hidden among the trees, is a small wooden boat. It rests quietly near the shore. The forest has one more place to show you tonight, the caretaker says. A place where dreams are carried beneath the stars. You look toward the boat. The lake stretches peacefully ahead. The moonlight dances across the water. And slowly, you step into the boat. The caretaker gently pushes away from the shore. The journey continues. Across the sleeping reflections, across the quiet waters, deeper into the heart of the whispering forest, and beneath the silver sky. The forest continues to share its secrets. The small wooden boat moved gently across the quiet surface of the lake. There was no sound of oars breaking the water, no sound of waves, only the soft movement of the boat as it carried you beneath the silver sky. The caretaker sat at the front of the boat, holding the green lantern from the grove of ancient memories. Its gentle glow reflected across the water, creating a path of shimmering light behind you. Above, the stars seemed closer than before. They filled the sky like tiny candles placed carefully across a vast, dark room. You looked upward and noticed something beautiful. The stars were not still. They seemed to move slowly, almost like they were breathing with the forest. The caretaker noticed your gaze and smiled. The whispering forest has many places hidden from ordinary eyes, the caretaker said softly. But the places that are easiest to miss are often the ones that hold the greatest peace. You looked across the lake. Where are we going now? You asked. The caretaker looked ahead. To the starry river. The river, you wondered, but we are already on a lake. The caretaker nodded. Every lake has a hidden journey beneath its surface. Every quiet place has another quiet place waiting beyond it. The boat continued forward, slowly, peacefully. The shoreline behind you became smaller, until the trees blended together into one beautiful silver horizon. The forest no longer felt like a place you were visiting. It felt like a place that was carrying you, a place that understood you, a place that understood you, a place where you did not need to explain anything. You simply needed to be. Hana. After some time, you noticed a gentle change in the water. The still surface of the lake began to move, not quickly, not suddenly. The water simply began flowing forward. The lake was becoming a river. The lake was becoming a river hidden beneath the stars. The boat followed the peaceful current, drifting between tall silver trees, whose branches reached over the water. Their leaves reflected the moonlight, creating the feeling that you were travelling through a tunnel made of stars. The caretaker lifted the green lantern slightly. This river carries dreams, the caretaker whispered. Not dreams that disappear when morning arrives. Dreams that remind the heart of what matters. You watched the water below. Small lights moved beneath the surface, tiny glowing sparks that travelled alongside the boat. "What are they?" you asked. The caretaker smiled. "They are forgotten dreams." "Forgotten dreams?" "Yes. Sometimes people have beautiful hopes, peaceful wishes, and quiet moments of imagination. But the busy world causes them to forget. The river keeps them safe. The lights continued moving beside you, each one carrying a gentle feeling, a feeling of hope, a feeling of kindness, a feeling of possibility. You reached your hand toward the water. One small light floated closer. As it touched the surface near your fingers, you felt a peaceful warmth. And for a brief moment, you remembered something simple. A moment when you felt completely calm, a moment when the world felt quiet, a moment when you knew you were exactly where you were meant to be. Then the light drifted away, not disappearing, simply continuing its journey. The boat travelled deeper into the forest. The trees became taller, the stars became brighter, and the whispers of the forest surrounded you, not as voices, not as words, but as a feeling. A reminder that you were safe, that you were welcome, that you could rest. Eventually, the river opened into a wide circle of water, surrounded by ancient trees. At the centre stood a small island covered with silver grass, and on that island was a single tree, unlike any tree you had seen before. Its branches stretched upward like pathways, reaching toward the heavens. Its leaves shimmered with every colour of moonlight. The caretaker guided the boat toward the island. "This is the dreaming tree," the caretaker said. The heart of the whispering forest. The boat reached the shore. You stepped onto the soft silver grass. The island was completely quiet. Yet somehow, it felt full of life. The dreaming tree moved gently in the breeze, and as you approached, one silver leaf slowly floated down, landing softly in your hand. The caretaker watched quietly. The tree offers a gift to every traveller. You looked at the leaf. What does it give? The caretaker smiled. A reminder. A reminder of what? That even the quietest moments are important. You held the silver leaf gently. The forest around you seemed to become even calmer. The river flowed softly. The stars shone above. The dreaming tree whispered through its branches, and for a while, you simply stood there, listening, retting, dreaming, beneath the endless silver sky. The silver leaf rested gently in your hand. It was lighter than a feather, softer than a flower petal. And yet, somehow, it carried a feeling that was difficult to describe, a feeling of comfort, a feeling of remembering, a feeling of returning to a place you had always known, even if you had never been there before. The dreaming tree stood quietly before you. Its enormous branches stretched into the night sky, reaching toward the stars above. Every few moments, a soft glow moved through the tree's leaves, like a slow wave of moonlight passing from branch to branch. The caretaker stood beside you. This tree has watched over the whispering forest for longer than anyone can remember, the caretaker said. It has seen countless travellers arrive. Some came searching for answers, some came searching for peace, and some came simply because they needed a quiet place to rest. You looked up at the glowing branches. "What does the tree remember?" you asked. The caretaker smiled. "Everything that grows, every dream that begins, every hope that is planted, every gentle moment that becomes something beautiful." A soft breeze moved through the island. The dreaming tree released several silver leaves into the air. They floated around you like tiny pieces of falling stars. As they moved, you noticed something unusual. Each leaf carried a small image, a memory, a dream, a moment. One leaf showed a person learning something new. Another showed a family sharing laughter beneath a warm evening sky. Another showed a quiet traveller sitting beside a river, finally feeling at peace. The leaves did not hold the loud moments of life. They did not show grand celebrations or great achievements. They showed the small moments. The moments people often forget. A kind smile, a comforting word, a peaceful morning, a simple breath of fresh air. The caretaker watched the leaves drift. The forest knows something many travellers forget. The caretaker said, "The smallest dreams can grow into the greatest treasures." You remained beside the dreaming tree for a long while. There was no need to hurry, no path waiting for you, no destination calling your name. Only the gentle night, only the stars, only the peaceful rhythm of the forest. Eventually, the caretaker turned toward the other side of the island. "There is one more place I would like to show you." You followed the caretaker along a narrow path covered with soft silver grass. The path curved between ancient trees until you reached a wooden doorway standing alone in the middle of the forest. There were no walls around it, no building attached. Only a beautiful wooden door surrounded by flowers that glowed beneath the moonlight. The caretaker placed a hand on the door. "Beyond this doorway is the garden, where dreams bloom." The door opened slowly. A warm, gentle breeze flowed through, and beyond the doorway was a garden unlike anything you had ever imagined. The garden stretched farther than you could see. Thousands of flowers grew beneath the silver sky. But these were not ordinary flowers. Each one carried a dream. Some flowers glowed with soft blue light. Some shimmered like golden stars. Some opened and closed stars. Some opened and closed slowly, as though breathing peacefully with the night. You walked between them carefully. The flowers seemed to recognize your presence. As you passed, their petals opened. Their gentle fragrance filled the air. The caretaker spoke quietly. "Every flower here begins as a small dream, a wish, a hope, a quiet thought carried in someone's heart." You looked around. How do they grow? The caretaker touched a small flower beside the path. With patience, with kindness, with time. Dreams cannot be forced to bloom. They must be cared for. The flower beside the caretaker opened a little wider. A soft light rose from its center and floated upward. The light became a small image, a dream. You saw a peaceful home surrounded by trees, a place filled with warmth and laughter. Then the image faded. Another flower opened. This time, you saw someone walking confidently along a new path, finding courage, finding strength, finding their way. Another flower bloomed, showing a quiet moment of friendship, a simple conversation, a feeling of being understood. The garden was filled with countless dreams, some big, some small, but each one mattered. You continued walking deeper into the garden. At the center was a small pond surrounded by white flowers. The water was perfectly still, more still than the lake of sleeping reflections, more quiet than any place you had visited. The caretaker sat beside the pond. This is where travellers leave behind the dreams they no longer need to carry. You sat beside the water. What does that mean? The caretaker looked at the reflection of the stars. Sometimes people hold on to dreams that create worry instead of peace. Sometimes they carry expectations that make their hearts tired. The forest teaches that it is okay to release what no longer helps you grow. A gentle breeze crossed the pond. The surface moved softly, and as it moved, you felt a quiet sense of relief. Not because everything was solved, not because every question had an answer, but because, for this moment, you did not need to have everything figured out. You could simply rest. Halnwara. The caretaker placed the green lantern beside the pond. Its reflection joined the stars. The garden became a world of silver light. The flowers continued blooming. The trees continued whispering. The river continued flowing. And slowly, very slowly, the night grew even quieter. The dreaming tree watched from the distance. The garden protected its precious dreams, and you remained there beneath the stars, breathing, resting, listening, knowing that every peaceful moment was another flower, blooming inside your own heart. For the journey through the whispering forest was not about finding a hidden treasure. It was about discovering the quiet treasures that had always been there waiting peacefully. The garden where dreams bloom remained peaceful beneath the silver sky. The flowers continued to open and close with the rhythm of the night. The glowing petals moved gently in the breeze. The pond reflected the stars above. And for a while, you simply sat beside the water, allowing the quietness of the garden to surround you. There was no need to speak, no need to search, no need to wonder what would come next. The whispering forest had taught you that every place had its own rhythm. The ancient grove had carried memories, the sleeping lake had carried reflections. The dreaming tree had carried hopes, and this garden had carried dreams waiting patiently to bloom. After some time, the caretaker stood. The forest has one more lesson to share with you tonight. You looked toward the path ahead. Another journey was waiting. But this time, you did not feel the need to rush toward it. You had learned to move slowly, to notice the small things, to appreciate each step. The caretaker smiled. You are beginning to hear the forest. You listened carefully. The trees whispered, the flowers moved. The river flowed somewhere beyond the garden, but beneath all of those sounds was something else, something quieter, something deeper. A peaceful silence. Honhalraz. The caretaker guided you through another wooden doorway at the edge of the garden. Beyond it was a narrow pathway covered with soft moss. Tall trees stood on both sides, their branches forming a natural roof above you. The moonlight filtered through the leaves, creating gentle patterns across the ground. You walked together for a long time, slowly, quietly, until the forest began to change. The trees became fewer, the air became cooler, and ahead, hidden between the silver branches, you saw a large stone building. It was not a castle, it was not a palace. It was a simple, beautiful hall built from smooth stone and covered with vines. Small lanterns hung beside the entrance, glowing softly. The caretaker stopped before the doorway. This is the Hall of Gentle Echoes. You looked at the entrance. What happens inside? The caretaker placed a hand on the old wooden door. Here, the forest listens. The forest listens? The caretaker nodded. Yes. Many people spend their lives searching for something to hear. But sometimes the most important thing is what we finally allow ourselves to say. The door opened. Inside, the hall was enormous, yet it felt warm and peaceful. The walls were covered with beautiful carvings, not pictures of kings or battles, not stories of victories or achievements. Instead, the walls showed simple moments, a person helping another, a family sitting together, a traveller resting beneath a tree. Someone offering kindness without expecting anything in return. The hall was filled with memories of gentle actions. The caretaker led you forward. Your footsteps created a soft echo. But something about the echo was unusual. It did not repeat your footsteps, it repeated feelings. You walked a little farther, and the hall whispered, "Peace." You stopped. The word did not come from a person. It came from the walls, from the air, from the quiet space around you. The caretaker smiled. The hall does not repeat what you do. It reflects what you carry. You continued walking. The echo changed. Hope, kindness, rest. Each word appeared softly, like a breeze moving through the room. At the centre of the hall was a small circular room. Inside was a comfortable chair surrounded by glowing stones. The caretaker gestured toward it. This is where travellers sit when they need to listen. You sat down. The room became completely silent. At first, you noticed only the quiet. Then slowly, you began to notice something else. Your breathing, the gentle rhythm of your heartbeat, the peaceful feeling of simply being present. The caretaker's voice came softly from nearby. Many people search for answers outside themselves. They travel far, they climb mountains, they cross oceans. But sometimes, the most important journey is the one that happens in stillness. You closed your eyes, and the hall began to show you gentle echoes. Not memories, not dreams, just feelings. The feeling of a peaceful morning, the feeling of sitting somewhere safe, the feeling of knowing you are allowed to rest, the feeling of being surrounded by quiet kindness. The echoes moved around you like soft waves. They did not ask anything from you. They did not need anything from you. They simply reminded you. After some time, the caretaker returned to your side. The Hall of Gentle Echoes gives every traveller a gift. You opened your eyes. What gift? The caretaker smiled. The ability to return to this feeling. You looked around the quiet room. The forest will not always be nearby. The stars will not always shine this brightly. The rivers and gardens will not always be around you, but the peace you discover here. The caretaker gently touched the green lantern. Can travel with you. A soft glow filled the room. The lantern shone brighter than before, not because the light had changed, but because you had learned how to notice it. Outside, the night continued. The silver trees stood quietly. The stars watched over the forest. And somewhere beyond the hall, the hidden paths continued toward places you had not yet discovered. The caretaker opened the door. A gentle breeze welcomed you back. You stepped outside. The whispering forest stretched endlessly before you. There were still mysteries waiting, still paths to follow, still dreams to discover. But now you carried something new, a quiet reminder, a gentle echo, a small piece of the forest that would remain with you wherever you went. And beneath the silver moon, you continued your journey, slowly, peacefully, with the forest whispering softly beside you. The path beyond the Hall of Gentle Echoes was quieter than any path you had walked before. Not empty, not lonely, quiet, the kind of quiet that feels like a warm blanket resting around you. The caretaker walked beside you, carrying the green lantern. That hand guided you through the deepest places of the whispering forest. Its glow was gentle now, not bright, not demanding attention, just enough light to show the way. Above you, the silver trees slowly became smaller. Their branches opened wider, revealing more of the night sky. The stars seemed endless, millions of tiny lights resting peacefully above the forest. You walked beneath them, following a trail covered with soft grass and tiny flowers that shimmered whenever your feet passed nearby. The flowers did not open because they were awakened. They opened because they welcomed you. After some time, the caretaker stopped. Ahead, the trees separated. Beyond them was a wide valley. A valley unlike anywhere you had ever seen. You stood at the edge and looked down. The entire valley was filled with stars. Not stars in the sky, stars on the ground. Tiny points of silver light rested across the valley floor. Some floated above the grass. Some rested beside small streams. Some gently moved through the air like glowing butterflies. The valley looked as though a piece of the night sky had fallen softly onto the earth. The caretaker whispered, "Welcome to the Valley of Sleeping Stars." You stepped forward slowly. The air felt different here, lighter, softer. Almost as though every breath carried a little bit of calm. "What are these stars?" you asked. The caretaker looked across the valley. "They are dreams waiting for morning." You watched the lights moving gently. "Dreams?" "Yes. Every night, countless dreams are created. Some are remembered, some are forgotten, some are carried away by the wind. But the whispering forest protects the dreams that need a peaceful place to rest." You walked deeper into the valley. The stars around you responded to your presence. When you moved closer, they glowed a little brighter. When you became still, they rested quietly. It felt as though the valley was breathing with you. At the center of the valley was a small wooden bench beneath a tree with silver blue leaves. The caretaker invited you to sit. You rested beneath the tree and watched the sleeping stars. For a long while, nothing happened. And somehow, that was perfect. There was no great mystery to solve, no secret to uncover, no challenge to overcome. Only the peaceful beauty of the moment. The stars above, the stars below, the gentle wind, the quiet forest. The feeling that everything was exactly as it should be. After some time, one small star floated towards you. It moved slowly, carefully, like a tiny candle carried by an invisible breeze. It rested above your hands. The caretaker smiled. "This star carries a message." You looked at the glowing light. "What message?" The caretaker answered softly. "Every traveller who reaches this valley receives the same reminder." You waited. The star shimmered, and the caretaker continued. "You are allowed to rest." The words settled gently around you. "You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to enjoy peaceful moments without needing a reason." The small star became warmer, brighter. Then it slowly drifted back into the valley, returning to its place among thousands of other sleeping stars. The caretaker looked toward the far side of the valley. There is something you should see. You followed the caretaker along a narrow trail between the glowing lights. As you walked, the stars beneath your feet began to form a pathway. Not a road, not a bridge, a path made of gentle light. Each step created another piece of the way forward. The forest was guiding you. You crossed the valley slowly. At the far end stood a small hill covered in silver grass. From the top of the hill, you could see everything: the whispering forest, the distant village, the glowing river, the ancient trees, the garden where dreams bloomed, the lake of sleeping reflections. All of the places you had visited were connected, not by roads, not by maps, but by peace. The caretaker stood beside you. Many travellers believe they are searching for a destination, but the forest teaches them something different. You looked across the beautiful landscape. What does it teach? The caretaker smiled. That every peaceful moment along the journey is part of the destination. The night continued peacefully. The stars rested. The trees whispered. The valley remained still. You sat on the hill for a long time, long enough for the world to feel very far away. Long enough for your thoughts to become softer. Long enough to remember that sometimes the greatest discoveries are not things we find. They are feelings we return to. The green lantern glowed beside you, the sleeping stars surrounded you, and the whispering forest held you gently beneath the endless sky. Eventually, the caretaker stood. There is one final place I would like to show you, before your journey through the forest comes to an end. You looked ahead. Beyond the valley was another path, a path covered with silver mist, a path leading toward the oldest part of the forest, the place where all whispers begin. You rose slowly, and together you followed the glowing trail, deeper, quieter, closer to the heart of the whispering forest. The path beyond the valley of sleeping stars was unlike any path you had followed. Before, it did not appear to be made by footsteps. It did not seem carved into the earth. Instead, it looked as though the forest itself had gently moved aside, creating a way forward just for you. A soft silver mist rested above the ground. Daffodils. It curled around your feet without feeling cold. It moved slowly through the trees like a quiet river flowing through the air. The caretaker walked beside you, carrying the green lantern. Its glow blended with the mist, creating a peaceful light that followed you deeper into the forest. The sounds of the valley slowly faded behind you. Golden daffodils, the sleeping stars disappeared into the distance. The whispering trees grew older, taller, more ancient. The forest was leading you toward its beginning, toward the place where its oldest memories rested. After a long, gentle walk, the mist began to clear. Before you stood a circle of enormous trees. They were unlike any trees you had ever seen. Their trunks were wider than houses. Their roots stretched across the earth like great rivers. Their branches reached so high that they seemed to hold the sky itself. In the center of the circle was a single doorway, carved into the oldest tree. The bark around the doorway shimmered with soft silver patterns. The caretaker stopped. This is the Heartwood Sanctuary. You looked at the ancient tree, the heart of the forest. The caretaker nodded. Yes, every whisper, every memory, every dream, all begin here. The caretaker placed a hand against the tree. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the ancient tree began to glow. A gentle warmth spread through the ground beneath your feet. The roots beneath the earth seemed to awaken. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but slowly, like someone opening their eyes after a peaceful sleep. The wooden doorway opened. Inside was a chamber unlike any place you had seen. There were no walls made of stone, no candles, no decorations. The inside of the tree itself created the room. The curved wooden walls carried a soft golden glow. Tiny lights floated through the air, and at the center of the chamber stood a small pool of perfectly clear water. The caretaker walked toward it. This is the source of whispers. You looked into the water. At first, you saw only your reflection. Then slowly, the surface began to change. You saw the forest, not as it was now, but as it had been long ago. You saw the first silver trees growing beneath a young moon. You saw tiny streams forming between the roots. You saw flowers opening for the first time. You saw the forest welcoming its first travelers. The image shifted. You saw countless people walking beneath the branches, some carrying happiness, some carrying worries, some carrying questions, some simply needing a peaceful place to breathe. The forest welcomed them all. It did not judge their stories. It did not ask them to be different. It simply gave them a place to rest. The caretaker spoke softly. The forest has survived for so long because it understands something important. You listened. What is that? The caretaker looked into the water. Everything changes. Seasons change. People change. Paths change. But kindness, peace, and gentle moments always leave something behind. The water became still again. The images disappeared. You looked around the sanctuary. It feels like the forest knows everyone who has ever visited. The caretaker smiled. The forest remembers feelings, not names, not titles, not achievements, only what people leave behind. What do they leave behind? The caretaker looked toward the glowing roots. Every act of kindness, every moment of patience, every time someone chooses peace instead of anger. Every time someone brings comfort to another, these become part of the forest. You looked at the ancient tree surrounding you. The entire sanctuary was built from countless moments of goodness. Havengura. The caretaker walked toward the pool and picked up a small silver seed resting beside the water. This is the final gift of the Heartwood Sanctuary. The seed was tiny, smaller than a coin, yet it glowed with a gentle light. What does it become? You ask. The caretaker placed it carefully in your hand. It does not become a tree. It does not become a flower. Then what does it become? The caretaker smiled. It becomes whatever peaceful moment you choose to grow. You held the seed quietly. The meaning became clear. Peace was not something that only existed in hidden forests. It was something that could be carried, something that could be planted, something that could grow wherever you were. You remained inside the Heartwood Sanctuary for a while. The ancient tree surrounded you. The source of whispers rested quietly. The green lantern glowed beside you. and the forest seemed to breathe. Slowly, calmly, like a sleeping world. Eventually, the caretaker stepped toward the doorway. The journey through the whispering forest is almost complete. You looked back at the sanctuary. Almost? The caretaker nodded. There is one final place. One final moment, the place where travelers say goodbye to the forest. You followed the caretaker outside. The ancient trees stood silently around you. The mist returned. The silver pathway appeared once more. Ahead, beyond the trees, a soft golden light waited, a place you had not yet seen, a place where the forest would share its final whisper. Together, you walked toward it, slowly, peacefully, beneath the silver sky. The path beyond the Heartwood Sanctuary was covered in a soft, golden light, unlike the silver glow that had followed you through much of the whispering forest. This light felt warmer, like the first rays of morning, like a gentle reminder that every journey, no matter how beautiful, eventually reaches a moment of rest. You walked beside the caretaker in silence. There was no need for conversation. After everything the forest had shown you, words felt almost unnecessary. You had walked beneath silver trees. You had rested beside forgotten streams. You had listened to ancient memories. You had watched dreams bloom. You had crossed rivers filled with stars. And now, you were approaching the final place, the place where the forest shared its oldest whisper. The golden light grew brighter as you continued. The trees slowly opened, revealing a wide clearing. At the center of the clearing stood a beautiful circle of soft grass surrounded by flowers. There were no buildings, no doors, no hidden pathways. Only a peaceful open space beneath the endless sky. The caretaker stopped at the edge of the clearing. This is the place of quiet beginnings. You looked around. Quiet beginnings. The caretaker nodded. Yes, every journey ends somewhere. But every ending also creates space for something new. You stepped into the clearing. The grass beneath your feet was soft and warm. The air carried the scent of flowers and rain. Above you, the stars shone gently. The forest seemed completely still, as though it was waiting. The caretaker placed the green lantern on the ground. Its light spread across the clearing. The silver seed from the Heartwood Sanctuary rested in your hand. Slowly, the caretaker spoke. Every traveller who reaches this place is given a choice. You looked at the seed. What choice? The caretaker smiled, to carry the forest with them, or to leave a piece of themselves behind. You looked around the clearing. What does the forest need from me? The caretaker shook their head. The forest does not need anything. It simply offers a place for you to release what you no longer wish to carry. You became quiet. The meaning settled gently. The forest was not asking for a gift. It was offering one. A chance to let go, Hanungvulura. You walked toward the center of the clearing. The silver seed in your hand began to glow. The ground beneath you shimmered softly, and the forest whispered, not through the trees, not through the wind, but through the feeling inside your heart. A gentle reminder. You have traveled far. You have rested. You have listened. You are allowed to begin again. The seed slowly opened. Inside was not a plant, not a flower, but a tiny light, a small piece of the same peaceful glow that filled the entire forest. The light rose from your hand and floated above the clearing. For a moment, it became part of the stars. Then it gently returned to the earth. And from that place, a small silver flower began to grow. A flower that belonged to the forest. A flower that carried a piece of your journey, Handglauber. The caretaker smiled. Now the forest remembers you. You looked at the flower. But how? The caretaker answered softly. Not because you walked here, not because you discovered hidden places, but because you allowed yourself to be present, to slow down, to listen, to experience peace. The flower moved gently in the breeze. Its petals shimmered beneath the stars. You remained in the clearing for a long time, the kind of time that does not feel measured. The kind of time where a moment can feel endless. The forest surrounded you. The ancient trees stood quietly. The streams continued their peaceful songs. The stars watched from above. And slowly, you realized something. The whispering forest had never truly been hidden. It had never been far away. The forest existed in every quiet breath, every moment of kindness, every pause in the middle of a busy day, every time you allowed yourself to simply be. The journey had brought you to a magical place. But the true gift was what you would carry home. Eventually, the caretaker lifted the green lantern. It is time to return. You looked back at the clearing. The silver flower remained beneath. The stars, the forest whispered softly around you. Not goodbye. Something gentler. Until next time. You followed the caretaker along the path, the same path that had brought you here. But now it felt different, not because the forest had changed. Because you had, the trees seemed to bow gently as you passed. The streams carried peaceful melodies. The silver leaves shimmered above, and with every step, the forest seemed to say, rest when you need to, listen when you can. Remember, that peace is always closer than you think. Hanville was. The path slowly led you back toward the wooden arch where your journey had begun. The silver vines still wrapped around the ancient wood. The words were still carved into the entrance. Enter gently, for every quiet step awakens a story. You paused beneath the arch. You looked back one final time. The Whispering's forest stretched endlessly beneath the stars. The caretaker stood among the trees, holding the green lantern. The forest gave one final whisper, a whisper carried by the wind, a whisper carried by the leaves, a whisper carried by dreams. You are always welcome here, and as the moon shone softly above, you stepped beyond the forest path, carrying with you a peaceful heart, a quiet mind, and a small piece of the whispering forest of silver dreams. Now, dear listener, allow yourself to slowly return from this journey. The forest remains behind you, but its peace stays with you. The gentle trees, the quiet rivers, the glowing stars, the peaceful moments, all of them resting softly within your imagination. Take a slow breath in and gently let it go. Allows your body to become heavier, your shoulders to relax, your hands to rest, your thoughts to become softer. Tonight, there is nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to chase, nothing you need to carry. The day has ended. The world is quiet. And you are safe within this peaceful moment. Imagine the silver leaves of the whispering forest moving gently above you. Imagine the stars glowing softly in the distance. Imagine the warm light of the green lantern beside you, a reminder that even in the darkest nights, there is always a small light waiting, a quiet place waiting, a peaceful dream waiting. So rest now, breathe slowly. Let your mind wander gently. Let your dreams open like flowers beneath the moonlight. And as you drift deeper into sleep, may your dreams be calm, may your heart be peaceful. May your night be filled with silver skies and endless quiet wonders. Good night, dear listener.